Welcome, everybody, to another Sleuth Intuition Live. I think we got a pretty good show lined up here. Found me some interesting dark web, murder for hire. Might fit into the whole black mask. Why were there multiple incidents in regards to the Delphi case? Why were there people showing up with black masks? Is it possible that there was a hit request made on the dark web and somebody, maybe multiple people, picked up on the took the bid, so to speak? It's far-fetched conspiracy theory, but we will look at that. Murder for hire, got about 4 different videos on that. We are going to look at 2 separate cases of police impersonation. One that takes place in Carroll County, I think in 2021. Similarities with the bridge guy. We will go into some of my findings in regards to Delphi that I've already shared with my members only. So they've been privileged to this information. Nothing super exciting, just stuff I like to go over that I often don't mention on the live streams. That does include a Twitter post by Jillian Deem Thomas. Basically, she's at the fire station at about 8 a.m. where everybody's regrouping for the search, and she does kind of a panoramic 360 photo of everybody that's there. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. An interview, well, not an interview, but some footage of Kim Riley that I haven't seen before. We'll take a look at that as well. And then the guy with the dog that's seen in the RTV6 footage, walking towards the white pickup truck with police cars. We'll go ahead and give the history on that and explain who that person is. So before we jump into the videos, we got a super chat. Thank you, Danny Bear. Hi, everyone. Hey, Sleuth. I finally made it to a live Aussie style. Thank you. Just showing some love and love hearing your thoughts. I think we are close. Such a love, Danny. Thank you so much, Danny. Appreciate that. Oh, CD's in the house. What's up, CD? Hello, Frank. Diane. Sweets. Jill. Colette. And everybody else. So we're going to jump right into the dark web stuff. Now, this is apparently in regards to websites that you can go to once you access the dark web. Now, it's my understanding that the dark web is something that was created for military purposes only. You have to have a special browser and a special certain things you need to actually access the dark web. It's not part of the internet that we're on right now. This is for covert communications, and apparently because the military branches all have access to it, but they're not cohesive and they're not collaborating to get rid of it, because they may be using it to basically monitor criminal activity. That's just a theory, of course. Conspiracy theories, it's kind of what you get on this channel, I guess. But yeah, it's not the regular internet. It's something you have to access separately. So it means you have to have some knowledge on how to get to it. It's not like going to Pirate Bay and downloading a torrent and you're like, oh yeah, I got it off the dark web. No, that's not what we're talking about here. So let's take a look. Yeah, let's start with this one here. They're all nuts, but I guess we'll start with this one.
has a little-known and mysterious twin known as the dark web. It's a place where online services offering illicit drugs and hitmen are just one click away. The murder of a mother in the Midwest led to 48 Hours' Peter Van Zandt into the shadowy world of the dark web. His 6-month investigation uncovered murder plots that were paid for but not yet carried out. 48 Hours alerted authorities around the world hoping to save lives. Here's a look at what 48 Hours discovered.
My name is Yura.
He calls himself Yura, and in this video diary claims to run a murder-for-hire empire on the dark web. It's a kind of an internet hiding behind the one we know. Yura has struck terror in the hearts of people all over the world, including 43-year-old Amy Allwine in Cottage Grove, Minnesota.
They seemed like an all-American, church-going, caring, loving couple.
So prosecutor Jamie Kreiser says in May 2016, Amy and her husband Stephen seemed shocked when the FBI and police informed them she was marked for murder. Someone had placed a kill order for $12,000 on a dark web hitman site called Besa Mafia, using an anonymous screen name, Dog Day God.
Dog Day God says, I need this dead. There was an urgency.
Right. Whoever Dog Day God is chomping at the bit for this to happen.
Captain Randy McAllister says the Allwines beefed up security and bought a gun. November 13th, 2016. Sergeant Gwen Martin was on the night shift when police got a 911 call.
I think my wife shot herself. There's blood all over.
First responders to the scene were suspicious. Amy had a single gunshot wound inside her right ear.
It soon became clear someone had killed her.
Was it the hired hitman from the dark web?
Who gave you that idea?
4,000 miles away in London, a white hat hacker named Chris Montero had been monitoring Yura's Besa Mafia site.
What did Dog Day God want done?
The target kill on a particularly given date.
He says it listed dozens of kill orders.
See, now this guy right here. Let me get it back up on the screen here. So this guy, he's actually hacking into these dark websites, and he's monitoring them and reporting their findings. So he's kind of like a vigilante hacker, it seems like. It's kind of crazy. Kind of exciting, if you ask me.
Dog Day God want done?
The target kill on a particularly given date.
He says it listed dozens of kill orders from all over the world. He says he tried to alert authorities, but they brushed him off. So he started passing tips directly to 48 Hours.
We found ourselves in the middle of an apparent live marketplace for murder, and there was only one thing we could do. We contacted authorities.
They just received a tip for a murder for hire in Iran.
Against a citizen of Taiwan.
If it wasn't for 48 Hours, there would have been a funeral.
So far, 4 arrests from our tips.
Do you understand the terror that you have caused with this murder for hire plot?
Wow, Peter Van Zandt is here. Peter, you in an investigation literally saved lives. How many murders were prevented?
We're up to more than 30 targets in 9 countries. These are people where a kill order had been made and money had exchanged hands.
And you talk about the dark web, aside from the name itself, what makes it so dangerous?
What makes it dangerous is that everything you do on it is virtually untraceable. It was created by the United States military so commanders could have secret communication. Criminal organizations have gotten into the dark web. It requires a special browser to do so. And so much goes on and no one can trace what's happening. So you can actually go on and say, I'd like to have this person murdered, negotiate all of that, and nobody knows this is happening.
I'm so conflicted about us even telling this story, Peter, because on one hand, it gives people ideas. On the other hand, shouldn't we be doing something to shut it down?
It's remarkable how many people already know. I'm like you, I had never heard of the dark web. But what has to happen now, the FBI, CIA, and other national intelligence agencies in various countries have to unite because they have the technology to shut these guys down.
Well, Dog Day God should be warned that you in 48 hours are watching. Thanks, Peter.
He knows. He's in jail.
Well, yes, exactly. And you can see the 2-hour season premiere of 48 Hours.
Got 'em.
Click for a Killer tomorrow night at 8 Central, right here on CBS.
Well, I guess they got that full. Good job. Good job. All right. This one is out of Des Plaines. Now, these are all pretty intense. I mean, first of all, it already takes some skill and some effort to access the dark web. Now, this is not something you just jump on your computer and you're like, oh, let me Google the dark web. It's not how it works. So you have to have the technical know-how just to do that. Okay, so now you've gone through all of this effort and skill, training, whatever it is. Now you've accessed the dark web. Now you begin to browse the sites, like the Hitman sites and the CSAM and all of that crap. Wow. So you guys are saying 12 grand. You think that's low? I don't know. I can see people doing it for less. I mean, it really depends on who you're trying to hire. 12 grand, that could change their life. Yeah, when it comes to Bitcoin, I thought it was like a blockchain. I mean, I'm no expert on this, but I thought like every transaction is like documented by like all these different people who are mining the information to verify it so that they can gain their own Bitcoins. So if there's all these people out there trying to get paid to make sure that the blockchain is correct, wouldn't all of that be monitored? I don't understand. So I don't know why people talk about Bitcoin like it's something that, unless there's a way to hide it. Like I said, I don't know that much about it. But I just remember that's the part that stood out to me was the whole blockchain and how they track each transaction. What's up, Fig? Yeah, Fig. I mean, that's all I get is pushback, man. It's okay. I can only be me. So sometimes it's really non-controversial stuff. Next thing you know, it's like something triggering. It's not my intention. All right. I think I have 2 more here. Yeah, this one is out of San Luis. Let's take a look here.
A jury says Bo Brigham is guilty of trying to hire a hitman to kill his stepmother. He was convicted hours ago for solicitation of murder. During testimony last month, the court heard from IT expert Christopher Montero, who said he hacked into a website on the darknet associated with hiring a hitman. Montero gave the court 6 messages pertaining to people who wanted to commit illegal acts. Brigham's attorney, Ilan Funky Bilu, says what the hacker did was criminal and pointed to the fact that Montero has been granted immunity for testifying in the case. No word on the sentencing for Brigham.
Yeah, so that one was interesting. But the one that I saved last here, now this one's titled Man Indicted for Allegedly Hiring a Hitman to Kill a 14-year-old who he was victimizing. Now, this goes all too well with the theory that I've been kind of talking about with some friends of mine behind the scene. So I saved this for last on the portion of the dark web hit for hire portion of this live stream. But check this out.
For a South Jersey man who allegedly turned to the internet to hire a hitman. Action News reporter Katie Catro has that story.
A Camden County, New Jersey man is in jail for allegedly using the dark web to hire a hitman to kill a 14-year-old. The Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office says 31-year-old John Musbach, who most recently lived in Haddonfield, allegedly paid $20,000 in Bitcoin to target the teen. Investigators say in 2015, Musbach was exchanging pornographic videos and pictures with the victim, who was 13 years old at the time. Authorities arrested Musbach back in 2016 for that, and he pled guilty. According to court documents, the victim's parents were the ones who found the messages exchanged, and they notified police. But it was a year later that court documents show some of the messages allegedly arranged on the murder for hire website. Musbach is accused of allegedly asking if a 14-year-old was too young to target. When the person on the other end responded the age was not a problem, the amount was paid. We spoke with a local cybersecurity expert about ways to monitor your child's activity online.
Usually whatever the browser is, the browser has a temporary area that records those chats. So one of the things the parents could do is monitor those files.
Peggy McCooey, the graduate director for cybersecurity at LaSalle University, says whether on the dark web or using a social media app, your digital footprint can be tracked.
It's traceable, and you have to know how to trace it. And that's what the cybersecurity specialists are doing. They're looking at where the footprint is being left.
In Camden County, Katie Catro, Channel 6 Action News.
So where my theory is coming from is this: if you're on the dark web or you know how to access it, or you're able to make money selling CSAM that way, and we still haven't really been able to prove that, that's a conspiracy theory or a speculation in itself. We don't know for a fact, that the Kleins or Kagan was accessing the dark web and selling, the information that he was able to receive from underage victims. We don't know that for a fact, but I have a feeling that it is something that was taking place. It's very possible. I don't know for sure, but if somebody has all day and all night, doesn't have a job, and they're into weird stuff, we all heard what it said, the Sandy Hook and all this weird, strange, that's like conspiracy theory stuff. That's, you're obsessed with searching online. That's that kind of behavior. So if somebody's able to access the dark web, and they've gone as far as selling sensitive material, they may have access to other things, like maybe like a murder for hire type situation. So if, kind of like that last story we just heard, the guy was victimizing somebody, but now he was at risk of being arrested for his crimes, so he hired a hitman. I mean, that might explain the multiple situations that we've seen when it comes to the Delphi case. What if these were two separate killers? You got one that shows up at the bridge and was actually successful, may have even missed, might have been the wrong target, and then might possibly have been following up to finish a job, or potentially a completely separate person who picked up that order on the dark web, sought to receive the payment for that kill, especially if the first person got the wrong person on the bridge. Maybe Abby and Libby were not the intended target, and there was somebody else who was the intended target. I know there was some talk about that's possible. Who knows? Like I said, that's a speculation. It's all hearsay. Sleuth mumbo jumbo. You know, I recommend you don't pay too much attention to it. But it's just a thought. It's a serious thought for people who like to think. I mean, why else would there be multiple events, one on the 13th and then one a week later, involving the same people or connected in some way? You have to explain it. Either it's witness intimidation, maybe somebody who was hired to do something to finish the job. I don't know, but there's got to be an explanation, and I'm just trying to figure out what that is. It's super strange. But let me open this little folder here. This is in regards to police impersonators. I'm going to play this little video because I want to spend time on the article and sketch that I found out of Carroll County just after. So let me load that up.
Terrifying encounter involving a rapist posing as a policeman. Right now, tonight, a Delaware County woman and her daughter are lucky to be alive after the criminal got into their home by pretending to be someone they could trust. 45-year-old John Mangus is now in the Delaware County Jail facing charges of impersonating a police officer, rape, strangulation, and residential entry. Police say Monday night, Mangus came to Gaston with friends but got into an argument. He allegedly walked to the woman's home, knocked on her door, and told her he was a police officer.
She thought something may have been wrong or something, so she opened up the door, and when she opened up the door, she seen it wasn't a police officer. He had plain clothes on, a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, and she tried to shut the door, and he forced his way in.
Police say Mangus sexually assaulted the woman while her child was in the other room. She escaped an hour later by asking to go outside to smoke. Mangus was arrested, but as of tonight, officers say he is not cooperating with their investigation.
So it's just a quick example. I didn't want to spend too much time on this, but I just wanted to give two different types. Like that's one where it's just a simple, hey, this is an officer, you know, you need to let me in. Now this second case, this guy actually pulled somebody over, and let me pull up the image and then I will read the article as well. I guess I can show this even. Let's see. Okay, the Carroll County Sheriff's Department released a composite sketch of the suspect in the June 17th incident of someone impersonating law enforcement officer. The sketch was done by a forensic artist with the Federal Bureau of Investigation of Quantico, Virginia. According to Sheriff Clint Walker, shortly after the incident at approximately 9:45 p.m. on June 17th, a 16-year-old female motorist was pulled over on Highway 35, just north of Carroll County Recreational Park in North Carlton, by a man who appeared to be a law enforcement officer. The man was driving a white Crown Victoria with the spotlight on the driver's side and lights in the front grille. The man had the girl exit her vehicle and blow into a portable breathalyzer. When the girl called her father for insurance information, the man allegedly became nervous and left in his vehicle, turning around and heading north on Highway 35. Now, listen to this description. The man was described as approximately 5'10", weighing around 230 pounds. 40 to 50 years old, was wearing khaki pants and a gray polo style shirt with white lettering on the side. He was carrying an automatic handgun. See, now that's a misprint. How do you know? Like, who carries an automatic handgun? She obviously meant semi-automatic handgun in a holster worn on his left side. So if it was the bridge guy, wouldn't it be on the right side? So that's one thing that threw me off, and any trying to make any connection, because I saw this way before the Anthony Klein stuff. So there's that guy. What do you guys think about that story? That's Carroll County. Anna. Yeah, that's what I thought. I actually have a POI that matches him, but he's a free citizen, so I don't bring him up. Maybe I'll bring him up in my members only. Kind of looks like Brad Weber, too. It's funny, the guy I'm talking about looks like he could be his brother. Really strange. Coincidence, of course, but they just look like brothers. This was 2021, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, June 17th of 2021. That's when they started looking for this guy. Okay, so now, before we get into our Delphi discussion, I want to play some videos that I was able to kind of gather up that I've collected over the few years that I've been looking into the Delphi case. It's just strange. Like, it's not even really related, but it's just kind of like the events that took place in 2016 around and near Delphi. So, it might be a little bit boring, but I figured we'll take a look at it. So, give me a moment. Yeah, let's start with this one.
As we close out 2016, we are looking ahead to the new year and what communities are looking forward to for 2017. We are joined this morning by Delphi Mayor Shane Evans to talk about the community of Delphi. Thanks for being here, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
So, quickly, biggest accomplishment from 2016?
Probably the biggest thing, and the biggest thing you can notice downtown is the wrap-up of the Stellar project. So the streetscapes are done. We've got new sidewalks, curbs, the asphalt's down, new pavement markings. The facades are done, so it's looking really good downtown.
Good deal. And you say there still is a Stellar grant that's open and available?
Yes, sir. There's one project that's open. I think the deadline was December 3rd to get the paperwork in for owner-occupied rehabilitation grant.
Okay, so we should see some homes possibly.
Yes, sir.
Looking new and improved. So what's next for 2017?
We've got a lot going on for Delphi. We got the Community Crossings grant in 2016 from NDOT, so we've got some road work that we're going to be doing. One of the big projects we're going to have is a water and sewer expansion, so we're looking to double our capacity to try to attract industry. At the same time, we're trying to get out of the current water aquifer we're in right now to provide long-term water source for years down the road. So that's probably one of our biggest projects in 2017 will be the start of that water and sewer expansion.
Okay. And how do you pay for that?
Most likely have to be bonded. We're going to work together with local industry and the county to come together with some equitable solution.
Okay. How do you attract, you mentioned investment, how do you attract new investment to rural Indiana today?
Well, I think what Delphi's done so far is a great start. We've seen businesses coming to our downtown. And really, we need to follow through with Stellar and really promote the downtown at this point, bring people in. For industry, it's a little different. You need to have the infrastructure there. And so we're looking to get that infrastructure in the water and sewer, especially in rural Indiana. You need those two elements of your infrastructure for agricultural processing.
Okay. So, and you mentioned some street projects. Any in particular you want to talk about?
We're going to be doing East Main Street. So it used to be State Road 25. It got relinquished to the city of Delphi. So we're going to be doing that probably starting in April. Riley Road, Armory Road. We've got a few other projects that we'll be working on. Yes, sir.
All right. Mayor Shane Evans, Happy New Year. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Is moving along as a Carroll County business reopened its doors today. The Blue Moose closed back in December when they gutted the inside of the building. They preserved the tin ceiling and restored the terrazzo flooring. Owner Mark Mendel says he loves putting in the hard work to restore this historic building. Mendel says with all the construction and development, he hopes more people will visit the area.
There's just so much up here to offer, and I think once people come here, they'll keep coming back and possibly even move here in the future. It's a really booming community.
Blue Moose serves frozen yogurt and a variety of other foods. Mendel hopes people will try the new Coney Slaw dog.
So what's interesting about that one is I think that's where Kelsey was giving her interview. Can't remember what that guy's name was. But it was an interesting interview. He visited their home, went and talked to Tobe Lesenby, had a really good conversation with Kelsey where she was kind of talking about the week prior to the crime. Anybody know his name? I want to say Daniel something. Renner. Daniel Renner. Is that what it is, Sammy? Oh, James Renner. Yeah, go check it out. James Renner. He does everything with a 3D camera. It's pretty cool.
Residents are asking for the community's help in repairing the Monon High Bridge as part of the Monon Trail. News 18's Brittany Werner shows us why the community says the bridge is so important to the area's history.
The Monon High Bridge, which is part of the Monon Trail, was built in 1891 by the Monon Railroad. Although people often walk over the bridge to view the Deer Creek just down below, one Deer Creek Township board member, David McCain, says the bridge has never officially been developed into a pedestrian walkway.
Well, the community, of course, would like to have the trail finished, you know. It has to be fixed and stabilized. It's in a critical condition.
Delphi residents say this Monon Bridge is an important gem in the history of their community, and they are asking for the city's help to restore this historic walkway.
It's a very long bridge. It is in very good shape except for this one pier.
McCain says the bridge is 850 feet long, and it is the third longest railroad bridge in Indiana. The bridge is deteriorating, which makes it dangerous to walk on. In order to fix it, the entire project will cost around $300,000.
The community came together to support getting a grant from Indiana DNR that would allow for the decking and railing of the bridge for pedestrian use.
McCain was involved in helping to write the grant to the state's Department of Natural Resources, and the Deer Creek Township was approved the maximum amount of $150,000 toward making improvements. They also received $37,000 from the township, but that doesn't cover the bill. Before these changes can be made, the first pier must be repaired, which would cost around an additional $100,000.
We don't want the bridge to fail and collapse. We want to be able to fix it.
The bridge is owned by CSX, And before any repairs can be made, it must be approved by the owner. After negotiating for more than 2 years, CSX has agreed to donate the bridge and $37,000 for the project to a nonprofit organization willing to take the responsibility. But before repairs to the recreational trails project begins, the bridge must find a new rightful owner. Reporting in Delphi, Brittany Werner, News 18.
Interesting, interesting. Bee's knees, what is up? Peace not silenced. What's up? So I got one more obscure little video, and it's titled Wilson Bridge. Let's take a look.
In 1995, Wilson Bridge was slated for destruction.
I was really saddened by it. I wanted to do something for the community, and so I just started putting wreaths on it every different season.
Every season could be the last season for the bridge. 1898 iron was about to be replaced by brand new concrete.
I knew it was going to be a 3-span concrete bridge, and it would take over 4 acres of woods on the east side of it. I know from living here all the people that travel this road just to go across Wilson Bridge, and so I knew it meant a lot to a lot of people besides myself.
The decision to replace the bridge was made by the 3 county commissioners. The effort to save the bridge proved to be a long and contentious ordeal.
Yeah, just a little tidbit, I guess. But let's go ahead and jump into Delphi. I'm just pulling up some images here. So this is some stuff I shared with my members only a couple days ago. Sorry. But they are special. Don't worry, guys. You always get the heads up. So let me just show these real quick. These are just some little things that I share from time to time. Every once in a while, I'll get this image here sent to me attached to some type of theory or some type of question. Because I had this question as well. I had similar interest at one point, but I was able to find the guy. He has a public Facebook. He seems like a very sweet dude. But let me read the article here. It says Brian Mass talks about hiking the trails with his dog Jesse near the Freedom Bridge, Tuesday, February 14th, 2017 in Delphi. Mass, who is from Lafayette, said the area seemed safe and a good place to hike with his dog. Police announced that searchers found around 2:15 p.m. Tuesday that they had found 2 bodies nearby next to Deer Creek. Police said foul play is suspected. We all understand that. So if you ever were trying to figure out who this guy was here, and I'm not sure if this is the RTV6 footage. There was other choppers out there. This might be from another news outlet. But yeah, that's him there. Brian Mass. So he used to go hiking out there, and he went out there on the 14th. And you guys might have noticed on the RTV6 chopper footage, there's 2 photographers that are crossing this bridge right here. Now, the 2, as they're crossing this bridge, there's some vehicles that are parked in this direction. Well, eventually those photographers meet up with this guy when he's bringing his dog back from the walk, and they interview him. If you were wondering. All right, let's see what else I got here. Oh, yeah, this one's good. Nope, wrong one.
In
Let me remove
1995,
that one.
Wilson
Sorry.
Bridge was slated for destruction.
I was really saddened by it. I wanted to do something for the community, and so I just started putting wreaths on it every different season.
Every season could be the last season for the bridge. 1898 iron was a
Sorry about that. I think my computer froze up. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so this was posted by Jillian Deem Thomas. It says here, volunteers are gathering at the Delphi Municipal Building to search for Abby and Libby. The 13-year-old girls went missing yesterday. Now, if you see her at the bottom, well, hold on, let me remove this here. Okay, this says 8:20 a.m. February 14th. So we know that the girls were found at 12:15 p.m. It says it in that article with the guy who was walking his dog. Now I'm going to play another video here from law enforcement where they say 12:15 as well. So let me play the video. But I'll try to slow it down here. Okay, so this was at 8 a.m. Before the girls were discovered. And the reason I'm showing this is I just want to give you a glimpse into, what was going on, who was parked there, who was gathered there, what were they doing, what were their facial expressions. So let's take a look. Looks like a mix between male and female. Looks like we got Derek German right there in the middle talking with two females. And there's a firefighter behind him who's passing him. Looks like we got some people. They look like they're waiting for to be picked up, maybe. A group of teenagers. Some vehicles. Looks like a white car driving up. Another group of people. This bald gentleman, I don't recognize him. Then these guys, they all look anxious. Like, come on, let's go. So I'll play it in reverse. I don't know. The guy looks. I don't know if anybody recognizes that dude. There's Derek. He has no clue. He's about to get some really, really bad news, man. I'm really sorry about that, buddy. Here, let me play the original. Oh, I don't have an original. Sorry. I think I slowed it down in this one too. So we'll watch it again. Yeah, that's Derek right there. That was the original. So I thought that was interesting. And I think I have one more here. And then we'll just kind of chat for a little bit because we're almost at the hour mark.
Identified the bodies of the two females that were found out yesterday, yesterday. The bodies have been positively identified as Abigail J. Williams, 13, of the Delphi area, and Liberty Rose Lynn German, 14, of the Delphi area. The two girls were reported missing on Monday, February 13th. The bodies were discovered about 12:15 on the 14th in the woods just east of town here by volunteers that helped in the search of the children after they were reported missing to the Carroll County Sheriff's Department. Family has been notified. This is considered a double homicide investigation. No further information will be released at this time. We are asking for anyone to come forward who has information that were either on the Delphi Historic Trail yet there on Monday, especially if they were near the Monon High Bridge, that they might have been seeing somebody out there. They may have taken pictures where somebody might be in that photograph. If they were out there doing that kind of stuff, we need that information. We would love to have pictures of that. I would have to say yes.
Hi, Kathy.
I mean, we have nobody in custody at this time. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, there is somebody out there that did this horrendous crime, and we're going to track them down. Based on the evidence that you have, do you have any idea if you're looking for one? Time, I don't think it would have helped as much as what we would like if we could.
And that's it. That's everything I had put together for you guys. So it was about an hour worth of material. So I figure we'll just kind of hang out for another 6 minutes. Guy in the blue coat staring at the camera. I've seen other photos of him, something white sticking out of the top of the jacket. Became one of my POIs. What is up? What's up, Purdue? A micro audit of the finances of KKTK. Follow the currency. Yeah, they should. Small towns and underpopulated counties, you know who are the bad guys, but the politicians are usually worse and they cover each other's backsides. Yep, that is true. Crooked politicians. Oh, Elaine, yeah, that's been looked at. Yeah, I've taken some time to look at that image. Well, you got to take notice. Hiding in plain sight. We didn't say it. You're welcome. Susan says, I believe it was a volunteer firefighter or a full-time firefighter, but some sort of first responder. He was one of the searchers. He was standing next to the fire chief, Curtis Borden. Interesting. Some skull and bones. Yep. It's that conspiracy. It's that George Bush. What up, Aspen? Says, hey, Sleuth, great live. What are your thoughts on the Anthony Shots money account going to her statement in the transcript? Yeah, I'm wondering if that's how they tricked him to go out there. It's like, hey, we'll give you money. Like, okay. You know, maybe it was an attempted rape or something. Maybe they just manipulated them to become, to become partially unclothed or something. And then that's when they attacked under like a ruse, Just another crazy conspiracy. Yeah. What do I know? I literally just found this mic. It was in my garage, and then I plugged it into my computer, and then I made up a name and just started talking about something I don't know anything about. Anybody could do it. I swear. Oh, here we go. So Sleuth, Keegan's half-brother Bart says he thinks the audio guy down the hill could be Keegan, but not Tony Klein. I mean, he would know. That's why it's really important. Like, yeah, the documents were interesting and all that, but the most important thing that Murder Sheets did was interview that guy. The guy that knew Keegan. Yeah, and I'm going to keep calling him Keegan. He knew him. He said he was kind of a chump. He was stuck with him by default. And one time, I think he even tried to kiss his girlfriend or something. So, and right now, all we know is that he's responsible for creating the account. Maybe that's as far as his involvement is, other than being guilty after the fact or something along those lines. But honestly, it sounds like two other people are involved in this. And it's definitely most likely Tony Klein plays a much bigger role in this crime. But I could be wrong. Like I said, what do I know? I'm just a guy that found a microphone. It's still a little dusty. Anthony says, it was from the Murder Sheet interview. Very interesting. Yeah. Anna says, I don't think Kagan would go on the bridge. It has been reported he has a bad seizure condition and takes lots of medication for it. Seizure on the bridge could be very bad. No, I don't know. I'm not a physician. Bee's Knee says, I no longer believe it was a crime that only involved one person. Yeah, I'm thinking 2, maybe 3. 3, unless one of the 2, had the skills. Like I'm thinking military. Some military badass. Somebody who knows how to like run into a situation and just like maybe zip tie some people up, some SWAT team tactics. I'm wondering if somebody like that who could even plan this out. They might even use like military tactics to plan it all out. Like, oh, we got a bridge here, we got this, we got that. Like to me, it just seems militant, very like strategic. So I mean, if you're one person who's helping somebody who's somewhat capable, like a hunter, but maybe considered elderly in those beginning stages, might need like a young able body, maybe even somebody who actually has some bodies under their belt, military experience, maybe did a couple tours in Afghanistan or something like that. It's like, hey man, I'll give you like $5,000 right now if you help me take care of this. Oh yeah, I'll plan it, dude. I'll plan it out for you. You just under one condition, and that's where the monetary stuff comes in. But it's all speculation, conspiratorial. I'll take a couple more here and then I'm going to jump off. Jen says the interview was heartbreaking. Yeah, the guy seems sincere, but you never know. Yeah, that was horrible hearing about what he did. Yeah, that's possible. I think Bridge Guy is connected. I think they know that for a fact. 6 people. Frank has epilepsy. It's not fun. Sorry about that, Frank. 5. And where do you come up with this? Let's go to Diane. She's responding to Snail. I think physical attributes no longer matter since both IPS and the FBI took down all that is removed from the posters. Yep. That is true. I don't know, Joe. I think it might just be his jacket. I think it might be his jacket and then his shirt behind his jacket. I don't think the jacket is like a I no longer believe it's like a work jacket. I think it's like a winter jacket. I think it's a big bulky jacket. Instead of a kill kit, it's really just maybe pockets. Just real bulky. Zippers, like a large collar, maybe even a large, like one of those large winter hoods that may appear as a backpack, in a blurry image. I'm thinking it's a large winter jacket, and everything that's going on around the neck is just that bulky jacket folded open with multiple layers. It has the zipper portion, it has the button portion, and then it has the flap that lays over the top of all of that. So it looks really 3-dimensional. But that's just my opinion. And all the stuff going on the arms that at one point looked like patches or police patches was really just the bright shine or reflection off of zippers and stuff like that. So that's what you're looking for. big bulky jacket, huge hood, like something that just flops over. Boom. And then when you look up this way, the hood is like really bulky and it makes his shoulders look big. But really, it's most likely just a skinny dude who likes to wear this jacket. You know, he's a skinny guy. If you look at his legs, he's skinny. And if you ever had a friend that was really skinny and they couldn't do anything about it, you know, no matter how much weight they lifted, how much food they ate, they were just skinny. Like they had a metabolism where they were just skinny. They always wore like multiple layers and bulky stuff. I don't know if you guys ever had a friend like that growing up. I always try to bulk up. That's what I think of when I see the bridge guy image. I see a skinny guy wearing a bulky jacket when it's already kind of warm out. Like you don't even need that jacket. But he likes wearing it because it makes him look bigger. Fooled us. Oh, here's a good one. What if it's not a cigarette? What if it's like a sucker, like a piece of candy, or like a straw? You know, what if it's somebody that spitting out like a piece of candy, or like because it looks like a cigarette, but when he spits it out, it looks all bent up, like it's either a half smoked roach or it's the end of like a sucker. But again, what do I know? It's just my opinion. Yeah, it could be a blunt, but when I consider the motion and the blur, I think if it was a blunt, it would be bigger. It would look like a bigger cigar, you know. It wouldn't look like a blunt because of all that blurry motion. It would look bigger. So if I'm looking at something that looks like a cigarette, I have to tell myself if it was a cigarette, it would look bigger than a cigarette because of the blurriness. So like then I took into consideration, okay, so if it's not a cigarette and if it is the size of a cigarette, we have to scale it down. What's smaller than a cigarette that may appear to look like a cigarette once it has blurry motion around it? And I thought of a sucker, you know. So maybe bridge guy is somebody that eats candy all the time. Just a theory. Todd says BG spits to his left. How can he have a cigarette and spit? Well, I actually have a video where I prove that he actually spit something out of his mouth. He actually spit something. So I thought maybe he was smoking and then he just spit, you know, the butt out. Or if he was chewing tobacco, he had one of those pouches. Or he had a blunt and it may have just been, you know, a half finished blunt. Or it was the end of a sucker. Those are the prime suspects, in my opinion. Yeah. The only time you would spit and smoke at the same time would be when you're spitting maybe the cigarette out. Like you've already occupied your hand. You're like, oh shit, I have a cigarette in my mouth. So then you just kind of spit it. I already pulled out my gun or whatever. Whew, had to sneeze there. Thank you. All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap it up. Unless there's nothing else. Nope, on Blunt. He was out of his head. Yep, doing tweaker stuff. Bless you too, Aspen. Thank you. Bless you, Kathy. All right, you guys take care. I appreciate you showing up, participating in the chat, and just hanging out on this channel. So you guys take it easy. I'll see you soon, for sure.